and TJ, I know the answer to this one. Spot on, spot off. Both RFK cars finish in the top 10 at Darlington and are main title contenders for the championship.
I mean, I don't.
Chris Buescher, 4th in points. Brett Keselowski, 8th in points.
I mean, I'm spot on for the company, obviously. I mean, I've lived it for the last 2 years. I'm spot on for it. But, you know, there's a lot of work still to be done. And it's nice to go to all these different types of tracks. I mean, super speedway, short track, Michigan, now at Darlington, and just have speed. It's speed, not just hit or miss. Like we're finding speed, you know, a lot more now, and it's nice to see. Like there at the end, we decided to pit and take a shot at a different strategy. We were both top 4. I think Chris, we were 3rd and 4th, and I'm not so sure that if we don't line up behind Chris on that last restart, we don't shove him to the lead. You know, I'm not going to put it past Brad to give Chris a good start there and get him out there. And if Chris gets the lead, I mean, he's proven that if he gets there, he can keep it. So, but yeah, it's great, spot on for the company. I'm not sure many saw it being as strong as this, but I've lived it, and I'm not surprised with the people that Brad's got there and the drivers, and you know, as hard as everybody's working, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I'm not, the way they've been running lately, nothing really surprised me with them, because they've been, I mean, Chris won 3 ovals in a row, essentially. You know, he won 3 out of 5 races, but before this, he won 3 ovals in a row, different types of races too. I think this week is the test for them. You know, we'll see what this is, the true mile and a half where I feel like Fords have struggled the most this year, and we're going to see now, like, this is where the test comes in, because you're going to have, you know, you've got this race, you've got Texas, you've got Vegas coming up in the playoffs, and if they're going to have to perform at these mile and a halves, and I think I look back, you guys were like 17th and 19th in the first race there this year. You've obviously found some speed now, so hopefully that's going to carry over to here. But I feel like this week coming up, Brett, is going to be the true test for the Fords.
I feel like, man, Chris Buescher has an opportunity here to become the new Matt Kenseth. You know, Matt was a very quiet personality. He had a massive fan base behind him out of Wisconsin, and it's because he was a damn good race car driver. And Chris Buescher this year has proven not only can he be an Xfinity Series champion, he can get to the Cup Series and he can compete for wins. His lone win coming into this year was a fuel mileage win.
Pocono.
And now here he sits as one of the best guys with the most speed going into, obviously we're the middle of round 1, but he's 4th in points, the highest ranked Ford. He's the highest finishing Ford everywhere except road courses the last 4 out of the 6 weeks. So I just think a lot of speed. And again, am I surprised? Hell yeah. 10 out of 10, I'm surprised.
Compared to last year, I'm surprised. You know, like, not recent history, this doesn't surprise me. If you would have told me that they would be, you know, knocking on the door, both cars probably knocking on the door, making the final 8, potentially the final 4, I would have told you you're crazy. So, I mean, if they can keep it up, I think that's where they're heading.
It's definitely trended a lot quicker.
I would love to see, this is me as a fan, not as anything else with, you know, dogs that I've got in a fight. I'd love to see Chris Buescher go out and win Martinsville. Just be in that position where it puts him, locks him into Phoenix. Like, man, that would talk about a story.
I wouldn't mind it being
the other one.
And Brad's good at Martinsville.
I mean, this guy is Cinderella to the ball, and I'm here for it.
He is, and you know, Chris. I've gotten to know Chris the last couple of years too. Great guy too, and great.
He's a blue collar guy.
100%.
He's got chickens at his house.
He's a strange guy. Like he, from what I don't know if it's changed.
Starlink.
Like a couple years ago, I was talking to Mike Herman's one of my best friends. He spots for him, and like Chris didn't have a television. Like he doesn't
at all.
Nothing. Like nothing. Like he just.
I bet he's got one now. He's got a kid. So.
Oh yeah, probably. But like I don't know. I mean,
that's a country boy. Yeah. Give me a blue collar country boy all day long.
Chris is, and he's. I mean, it's a phenomenal teammate. You know, him and Brad working together. They're if one can help the other in any way, they do. You know,
I remember being teammates with him, and I don't know him at all. But I remember being teammates with him when Elliott was there for that 1 year. Bubba was there, and Chris worked on his own cars. I mean, there's not a lot of the guys in the garage that can say they worked on their own cars. And I'm not talking about worked on it when something happened. I'm talking about showed up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and worked in the shop.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't have to do that now, but
Well, they can't now because they're too busy with all the commitments they've got. Their sim, their training, different world for drivers. But nonetheless, huge respect for this guy.
I'm glad he's getting more coverage, that because he's earned it, and he's a great guy, great teammate, and I mean it's just fun working with him.
If you're a hard-working American and you love Ford, then you need to be a Chris Buescher fan. He doesn't have to be your favorite driver, but he needs to be on your radar.
There's no reason he shouldn't be, on that list.
Yep.
There are probably not many people who would not cheer him on, knowing that he is like that Cinderella driver.
I've noticed in the last, it's definitely happened more in the last few weeks that it went from the Cinderella, or kind of like, oh, a really good run for you guys, good job, to
you're for real.
Yeah, what are you doing over there now? Oh yeah, hey, that car's doing that. Hey, penalize him, do something.
I used to use this example all the time, and I think I've talked about it on here. And you see this changing now because he's running so good. Chris Buescher was the guy I used as an example of, you're talking about cheering and booing, and I always said, I'd rather have cheering or booing than be Chris Buescher, because when Chris Buescher gets announced, nobody does anything. They do, all right, whatever. Now I saw it the other night. There was, he got introed, and there was an ovation for him. So you just see that people trend to when you're running consistently fast like that, you're going to build a fan base up.
He got this job because Ricky was tearing up so much equipment. Jack Roush said, I got to put somebody in my cars that's not going to put us behind every single week, because you can't get faster when you're tearing up your cars. You're literally just trying to get another car back out there. Mm-hmm. You can't work on the R&D and the innovation things that you got to work on.
That's what he did last year.
Chris Buescher's been a big part of this evolution of speed.
Yeah. No, 100%. Him being that type of driver last year, him and Brad are both very similar. Brad doesn't tear up a lot of stuff either, and those two doing that last year let everybody work on the cars and figure stuff out more. We weren't DNFing every race.
Give me a Chris Buescher shirt. Hell, I feel like I'm in the president of fan club over here.
Christopher Buescher?
Yeah,
Christopher.
Well, moving on to a driver on the opposite end of the spectrum who definitely got some boos this weekend. Denny Hamlin signs a multi-year contract extension with Joe Gibbs Racing, and 2311 will remain with Toyota despite all those Ford rumors. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
Spot on. I mean, what the hell was Gibbs waiting on? This guy's great. Obviously, phenomenal. Obviously the rumors were true for sure. I mean, Ford was after 2311, I think, and I am ultimately happy that we stayed at Toyota. Obviously, I think that we're just continue down the same path. It was hard to, you're thinking about it and you're like, why would we do that? Why would we, right now we're essentially, JGR and 2311 are essentially the same. I guess we could be second tier, but we run the same cars, same stuff, So I'm like, if we go to Ford, Penske's always going to be the top dog at Ford. Then, RFK is, they're probably the number 2 team right now. So, you go over there and then you find yourself in the mix of, you can be the third or fourth Ford team versus being the top Toyota team, basically. So I'm very happy we're staying at Toyota. Obviously Denny, he belongs at JGR. I think I never really doubted the fact that he was going to leave, no matter how close it got. It just seemed like last year we got to the point where we were like, Kyle Busch is not going to be back at JGR. It just the bridges seemed like it was burned.
There were a lot more signs of that story.
It just never seemed that way with Danny, and I'm glad it worked out.
That's exactly what I've got to say here. I mean, it's obvious that Denny Hamlin means more to Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota than Kyle Busch did, because they had an opportunity to keep Kyle. And
they tried. I mean,
how hard did they try? He had an opportunity to stay.
Hard,
I'm the one that told you he could have stayed last year on this show. I'm telling you though,
Always
when he didn't stay, you can't tell me that Joe Gibbs and Toyota couldn't have put more on the table to keep him.
Oh yeah.
When he said, "I've got a deal from you, and I don't want this one. I want another one." Well, they could have said, "Okay." They didn't do that, and I have a feeling. And look, I think it's the right feeling. I mean, Denny Hamlin is a Cup owner. Kyle was a Truck Series team owner. There is a big difference. There's a big difference in Toyota's 5-year plan with what Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan are doing. Oh, by the way, you got Michael Jordan Toyota. That's a way to Americanize your brand. I think it's great for Denny. I think it's great for 2311. Listen, Toyota has the most speed right now. If they don't win this championship this year, it's their own fault, because their cars are the fastest week in and week out. I know we talked about Ford winning some races there, but across the board, across the manufacturer board, nobody's faster than Toyota right now.
I'm spot on. I do think that they wanted to keep Kyle. I just think things happened a lot of things happened. I think Denny probably handled it a little bit better as well and let things play out a little bit more and was more patient with it. I know Denny probably had a backup plan as well in case things didn't go as well, as he hoped for there. But it'd be hard not to see Denny in that car. So I kind of, the longer it stretched
you
out.
Look at that picture yesterday. I'm gonna rub you a little rub on you and give you some of
It's
these
like
juices
that
off my
away from
bites.
me.
But like that picture yesterday of Joe and Denny that was going around, where Denny was this little bitty kid, Joe Gibbs, he's getting Joe Gibbs' autograph. Like, man, how do you not finish the story like that?
That's what I said. I think the communication between the sides was a lot better than maybe the other situation. I don't know, but I'm guessing because there was some animosity there, I guess, when you see them walk by, didn't even acknowledge. I mean, that's pretty serious, if that's happening.